What is going on, everybody? It is Nate with MySA, and we are back with another season of Taco Talk. Today we are joined by none other than San Antonio businesswoman, Natasha Riffle. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad we were able to get this situated and set up for our first episode. We have something big planned for this one, so I'm excited, but thank you so much for being here.
Of course. I'm excited.
Where are we at? Tell us where we're at today.
So we're at Cafe Don Juan. It's crazy because I never came here when I was younger, but when we started doing business and wanting to open Chilfladas, we obviously were there all the time in the mornings. We're like, dang, we need food, whatever.
Absolutely.
This place has been around forever. I've heard about it, I just never really came because I have my own taco spot kind of where I live. But this is my go-to all the time. I'm telling people, y'all want taco places? Go to Don Juan's.
Don Juan's.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, Don Juan's. It's one of those little hidden gems too, because I know a lot of people don't really know about it, or they really don't think to come here, like we just talked about right now.
Exactly.
Going into it, you're one of 3 at Chilfladas. I want to stress Latina owned, operated across the board because that's a big thing.
Yes.
But what has that growing up, within this side of town? How has that brought Chilfladas to a very underdeveloped area of town? What has that process been like for you, crafting it, building it, really making it a welcoming environment?
So, because people are so scared of the Westside, it's so annoying. It's just this stigma that that's been there forever. Oh, you grew up on that side. We're human beings.
Yeah,
we're normal people.
Exactly.
We're just not making that much money like you are on that side of town. Sadly, it's a demographic problem.
Exactly.
Just there's a hood in every hood.
Yep.
There's a hood in Stone Oak. They're just selling different kind of drugs. You know what I mean? Not to be ugly, but it's we're just doing different things on different sides. It just looks different on a different side of town.
Yeah.
But also this area is more your grandmas, your grandmas, your tias, your tios that houses have been given down to generation to generation, and they're taking care of their parents still, or someone passed away and then you have to take over that debt, or you're dealing with their finances and stuff like that. For me and for us, as all the 3 of us, it's we wanted something for everyone, but we also wanted to talk about the fact that there was nothing on the West Side where you could go get a cocktail or a nice drink.
Yeah.
Or not just a hole in the wall. The bathrooms are nice. Guys are oh man, the guy's bathroom's nice. We're I know. Y'all guys deserve some nice things as well. You know what I mean? I might screw up a little things a little bit more on the restaurant side, but you deserve nice things as well. And I think that was super important for us to bring to the side of town.
No, definitely.
For the community, for the area, for our neighbors, but for everybody.
Yeah.
Because there was a point in time when we first opened, it was oh, I'm not going there. That's on the deep West Side.
Yeah.
I refuse to go there.
Exactly.
And then we start growing this community of it's safe, it's nice, we take care of people. We get out of work at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
We should be scared.
Yeah, literally.
And that's anywhere though. Getting out of work, we have money on us. We're walking with people. That's why you have a group. You always leave together. No one leaves alone. No one's left alone.
Yeah.
That should be just safety in general.
Yeah.
Not just because we're on this side of town.
No,
you know
definitely.
what I mean?
Yeah. Of course,
So that was super big for us. And it's broadened the neighborhood out, and talking to people and hearing their stories of what this used to be, and oh, that used to be this used to be a barbershop, and this used to be my dad's lawyer place. I'm dang, that was 60 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So long ago.
And stories to see what I used he's I used to sit here and get my hair cut. So I'm sitting here having a drink now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really cool to see and to hear people from the neighborhood, people in the neighborhood love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We really don't have any issues, and I'm thank God for that, because it was really hard to get to where we were even now.
And I think too, because of how much you all take care of the community, they do kind of rally behind you all and take care of you all also.
Right.
I mean, think about it, you quite literally are on the other side of the tracks,
Yes.
quite literally.
Literally,
And
yeah.
it's insane to think about, how you talked about people not really wanting to come to the West Side because of just the stigma that it gets. But it's just I think being able to bring more of things like that, more, they are working on that nightclub right there on Sasamora and Culebra, that they're trying to renovate that and kind of bring that back to its old heyday. You think about things like that, it's kind of trying to bring a new life into the West Side, and you know, I can go on and on about it because growing up, I've just heard my parents talk about it all the time. You know, they were born and raised on the West Side.
Right.
You know, like you said, generations. So it's one of those things that I think like we do deserve more on this side of town. We do need more of those.
We need
of
more.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like everyone deserves like nice stuff. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No matter how hard it would take for us to get it, we're gonna do it. You know what I mean? And,
Exactly.
And I think that's also like for me like a push to like show people as well, like, hey, there's a will, there's a way kind of thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
No,
like
definitely.
this was like one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Next to getting my bachelor's degree, which I'm not a big school fan, but I got it. I don't know how they let me get it, but I got it.
It's on matters. You got that paper.
I got that paper under my name. But next to that, this was like the hardest thing I've ever done before. Like going through the city, like learning. I had to like, it was like going back to school all over again. Learning things about the city, learning things about zoning, learning things about council people.
Yeah.
You know, you have to like do an immense amount of work.
I can imagine.
And it was a lot.
I just wanted to go into the next question. So, you know, you've been in the bar scene and the bar industry since you were 18, 19 years old.
Okay. Yes.
You know, what are some of the biggest things that people either don't understand about the bar, like scene and bar culture, and what are some of like your biggest pet peeves when it comes to the bar scene and bar culture?
I love doing what I do. It's fun. But it's also still a job.
Yeah.
And I think people, just because they see our social media or they see us like, you know, as bartenders, you know, having a good time behind the bar, you know, that's the job. You know, we're supposed to, you know, I want to be at a place where people enjoy their place of work, you know. It makes me want to stay and enjoy like my time with them. But also it's a job and people forget that. And they think we're just like partying all the time and like that we just like sleep all day. And don't get me wrong, there's times that we do because we're up till 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning by the time we get home. And you know, when you're like, it's like working out, right? So when everyone leaves, we gotta close.
Yeah.
That's scrubbing floors and washing dishes and, you know, doing like cleaning bottles and all that good stuff. And sometimes like your body's still like on go.
Yeah.
You know, you have to like settle down and like wash your face and take a shower and get ready for bed. By the time it's ready for bed, my friends are like, it's funny, like we have like a text like, oh, good morning. I'm like, oh, good night. You know, like my teacher friends, like the people that are like getting up at 5:30 in the morning for their like whatever, I'm going to bed from work, you know, and sometimes people just think, like I said, we're just partying all the time, but like, yeah, like it looks like it, but it's also like, it's hard, our feet hurt, we're on our freaking feet all the time, our backs are killing us.
Yeah.
You know, all the things, like it's not just as fun as people think it is.
Yeah.
You know, and then
there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And then like, this is like a really big thing for me that I just kind of been like talking about recently as like I go into, you know, my first year and a half of business with like my own employees and, you know, caring about, you know, their needs and their wants and like how they feel, is that like no one really talks about like the mental health part of that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like just this past year, my stepdad passed away, you know, like dealing with like real emotional stuff, you know, like having a bad day or, you know, getting fired from a job, another job, or like, you know, people passing away or like, you know, just having a good day. Absolutely. You know, we have to go and smile in front of you.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is.
What
like I could be crying, you could be going through a breakup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, guess I gotta go to work though, you know? Like I have to be there.
Life keeps going.
Life keeps going, but no one sees that. And I think like that's kind of like a hard part in like the world that I live in and the world that we live in.
Yeah.
I literally just kind of always like kind of explain like, be like nicer to your people. You know, like we try to be the same, like, and that's not everywhere. I know that 100%, but at Chilfladas, you're always, for the most part, gonna get someone with like good energy and like we want to try to be their nicest like to people, because people come into bars to either talk when they're sad, when they're happy, when they're celebrating. You know, it's kind of like an all around funerals and breakups and like, you know, you get your good, your bad, your ugly as well on the other side as the customers, and we're supposed to be there for you as well. So we are the therapists in a sense.
Yeah, no,
you know
definitely.
what I mean? It's a different world, but it's like no one really talks about that. And like on our side is like, I just want people to know like we're human too. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
We have bad days, and sometimes, you know, we try to be 100% all the time because that's literally our job.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know what I mean? Because
talking to people, engaging, interacting, being able to be some people's therapist at times, like
because people just want to be like heard.
Yeah.
Like when people walk in, like, hey man, how was your day? I don't have to know you.
Yeah, exactly.
But that little question goes such a long way.
And I think it breaks down like the barriers that they have there, and you're just like, oh,
okay. You feel more comfortable.
Exactly.
You don't feel all weird. Like I've heard a lot like that. You know, Chilflada is a place where you could go and like, you could feel comfortable and just like, you know, like it's not weird. You're not hanging like by yourself, and like you could go and talk to the bartender for the most part and be like, hey man, how are you, how's your day, or whatever, whatever. And they get comfortable and they're like, okay, I could come here by myself. and not feel weird about
Yeah,
it.
exactly, exactly.
That's for men and women or whatever.
Across the board, yeah.
Across the board for anybody. Oh my God, it's so good.
So good, so good. I know this migas taco is the crispiness on it. Ooh, perfect.
Now I need to start doing that.
I know.
I think I've just been messing up my entire life.
So I always do that with my bean and cheese tacos.
I do that when I go to donut shop.
Donut shop, the original donut shop.
The original donut shop. I get my bean and cheese with it toasted. It has to be toasted.
It has to be toasted.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's funny too, because people are like, like, the taco didn't hit the way that people say it. I'm like, no, you gotta get it toasted. You gotta get it toasted.
100%.
That's what makes a difference there. It makes a difference. You actually recently, not too long ago, paired with Period Palooza, the wonderful ladies over there, Peyton,
Olivia,
all of them, all great friends of mine too. I love them dearly. What was that process like, bringing something like women's menstrual products? I think it's like the first of its kind within the city.
Yes,
Also,
which is super awesome.
What was that like?
First of all, like when they came to me, I was like, 1,000,000% yes, done.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Because one, I'm a woman, so I get it. But two, like I remember back in the day when I would go to like clubs and bars, like in my early 20s, or like late teens, like you'd have to pay for it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Again, being on the city of town, like it like really like makes my heart feel like really good when I'm pulling up at 1 in the afternoon and seeing people from the community go and grab stuff from there. Like the bar's closed. We cut a literal pantry inside of our fence. We like messed up our fence, and we're like, yo, this is what we need.
Yeah.
Because people out there need help. And if we could do that, like I'm always like big on like, you could buy a drink, you could buy a spiral, or like a pad, or because we do get like back to like the elementary school as well.
Yeah.
Like you could buy a spiral or number 2 pencils for like the school. You know what I mean? Like it's not as expensive as a drink either. You know what I mean? So I'm all about like we're all about like giving back all the time. Like we love that about the community too, and like we want to force that and push that along as our agenda because that's who we are. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like case in point, that's who we are.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You all opened Chilfladas back in 2023. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. So it's going on 2 years in June. Mm-hmm. What's next for Chilfladas? What's coming down the pipeline? What can we expect? What are you excited about?
So we have some exciting things coming up. We're gonna start renovating and like trying to like open up like more. I know like there's like this really small space that y'all seen. We're trying to get that all together. Like hopefully by the end of this year. Kind of opening up the area, making it nicer. It takes money, obviously, which we work our butts off for. That's gonna be the most exciting thing coming up right now. We have a couple of this Rock of Ages drag show coming up actually too, which is pretty cool. So that's really cool coming up. And that's what I love about Chilfladas. It's everything. You know what I mean? It could be anything. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Super excited.
Well, Natasha, thank you again so much for joining us today. I'm so glad we could carve out some time, from your busy schedule to get this, situated and set up. But, we'll go in, finish enjoying these tacos, and that'll be it. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you all on the next episode of Taco Talk. Peace.
Thank you.